Is the Lasfit rechargeable air compressor the real deal? Let's take a look. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Varsity Overland channel, and today's video I'm going to be testing out this product that was sent to me by a company called Lasfit Air. This is their rechargeable portable air compressor. They sent this to me in the hopes that I would test it out on my newer General Grabber ATX tires. And seeing as how I don't have a very useful air compressor of my own, I jumped at the chance to get this product so that I might actually be able to carry one with me while I'm on the trail. Question is, how effective is it at airing up these off-road tires? So these tires are 265/70 R17s. They are about 1 inch in diameter bigger than the stock tires that came on my Colorado ZR2. If I generously round up, I can call them 32-inch tires. Right now they're sitting at about 34 PSI, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to air down one of the tires. We'll start with one tire, airing it down. Maybe I'll cut it in half. We'll go down to 17 PSI and see how this product does at airing back up to 34. But really quick, before we get started on these tires, I just wanted to show you the product inside of its package with everything else that it comes with here. So you can see this really nice container that the air compressor is housed in. And then once we open that up, on the inside it's got the compressor itself, as well as two different hoses, a number of different fittings for the end if you want to do something like, you know, a bicycle tire, or maybe even like some kind of playground ball, like a football, soccer ball, something like that. And then of course your vehicle tires. It also has two different methods of charging. So this would be your power outlet inside the car on your center console. It'll come in really handy when you're taking this thing out, you know, into the world, onto the trail, you know, whatever. You run out of juice, you can just plug it into your vehicle so that it will charge. And then it also has this USB-C charger, much like most of our phones nowadays. So you could plug this into your vehicle, or if you have a charging block, you can just do it at home, which is something that I've already done. So when the product arrives, it does not hold a full charge. I didn't expect it to. You know, most battery operated things like this do not come with a full charge right out of the box. So I did charge it in the house for a few hours just to get it up to a full charge so that we could honestly see what a full charge will do on a tire. So there's also a few other notable features that I'd like to point out really quick. The item itself has a light on the top of it. So if I press the button on the top, it's going to have a light. It has a couple different settings, you know, different flashing modes in order to get your attention in case you're in an emergency. There's also a small compartment on the back to house all of your, you know, little hose fittings. And I was able to use one of the hoses to hook up directly to the tire in order to deflate it. Luckily, my vehicle has a tire pressure sensor on the inside, so I was able to just monitor the tire pressure from the console over the steering wheel to make sure that I got down to the proper tire pressure, just using the hose that came with it, which I thought was really cool. And finally, the air compressor has a button that allows you to cycle through a few different settings on the main screen in order to select what exactly you are inflating. So if you press the button at the very bottom of the display, it'll show you either you can choose a vehicle, you can choose a bicycle, you could choose something like an ATV off-road 4x4 vehicle, a type of playground ball, and then also there is a general setting at the very end. All right, so we got our hose hooked up to the compressor, and we've got our compressor hooked up to my tire. So now it looks like, well, the glare is pretty bad. It looks like it's registering 20 PSI, even though my tire pressure sensors inside the vehicle said 17. So that is something of note right now. This currently is measuring a little bit higher than my own tire pressure sensor. But I think we're going to go off of this. We'll go off of 20. We'll see if we can kick it up. If this is registering more, we'll have to kick it up to probably 35 or 36 PSI. So I'm going to leave it set to 35. That's the setting right there. It's set for vehicle. Hopefully you guys can see this. And all I have to do is hit the center button once and it should get started. All right, so I'm not gonna lie, that was actually pretty surprising. I did have a stopwatch going, and I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see it because it is a little dim, but it was just under 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 52 seconds. And that was after I started the air compressor and then, you know, grabbed this off the tailgate and hit start. So let's call it 3 minutes. So 3 minutes going from about 17 PSI up to 34 PSI, or in this case 35. It was measuring a little high at first, but we cut the tire pressure in half, we brought it back up. So let's go with, you know, a 17 PSI difference, and it took 3 minutes. 1 bar of battery life was lost. So theoretically, we take 3 minutes for that tire, we do all 4 tires, 12 minutes. So I guess that's not bad. I wouldn't probably go much lower than 17 PSI. Maybe I'd hit 15 PSI, but 12 minutes, I don't know. That's not terrible, right? I'd say anything under 15 minutes is definitely doable when you're airing your tires back up on the trail. I was able to talk to Lasfit, and they did say, you know, best applications for this product might really fall in the realm of like emergency. You got a puncture in your tire, you have to switch it out, you have to repair it, whatever, you got to air it up afterwards on the trail, and this product's going to do the job. I'm a little curious though. I think what I'm going to do is set it back to a full charge. I'm going to drop the tire pressure real low. Let's go down to like 5 PSI. Let's say, you know, you're wheeling in the snow, right, in the sand, and you want to drop your tire pressure down real low. Could this air it back up from 5 PSI to about 34, 35 PSI? So I'm going to do a quick fix for that. I'm going to charge it up. I'm going to set the camera down for a little bit, and then we'll come back and we'll give that a shot. All right, so I just spent about 20 minutes dropping this tire pressure down to about 5 PSI. It is sitting real low right now, and it did take about 20 minutes to charge up that 1 bar of battery life on this air compressor. So let's see, tire pressure sensors reading 5 PSI. If it's anything like before, this air compressor might read it at 6 or 7. But while I was charging this, I was thinking, you know, what if you don't have a digital tire pressure gauge on your console? What can you do in this situation? Because this air compressor doesn't allow the air to escape. It is only a tire inflator. So I was thinking, you know, if you attach the hose to your tire, let the air drain out, you could, while it's draining, just plug the top of it in and see what the gauge reads, and then just unplug it again and kind of play that like back and forth guessing game if you really had to, just to get your tires down to a specific tire pressure, you know, when you want to air down to hit the trails. But anyway, so we got this down to 5. We're going to hook this up. We're going to inflate it, and I'll set the timer and see how long that takes as well. All right, so from 5 PSI up to 35 PSI, or I guess technically it was more like 6 or 7 PSI, up to 35 PSI, because that's what the compressor was reading. It lost 2 bars of battery life, which kind of makes sense with how much battery life it lost with just airing 17 PSI. So I don't know if this would be a viable option for all 4 tires if you are someone who likes to drop your tire pressure really low before you hit the trail. But I'd say if you're someone like me and you only cut your tire pressure in half, you go around 15, 16, 17, I think it's doable. honestly. And I will be taking this with me on a couple trips that I'm doing this summer, and I will be testing it out on the trail to see if it is a viable option. Now, the charging aspect is a little concerning. It did take about 20 minutes just to gain 1 bar of battery life back while it was charging in the house. So if you are someone who drops your tire pressure low, maybe you have larger tires than I do, and the compressor loses all of its battery, all of its charge while you're trying to inflate your 4 tires, and you hope to charge it inside the vehicle, it will not be fast. So 20 minutes to gain 1 bar of battery life. If you lose all your battery life, I know it's not a perfect science, but let's say it could charge for an hour. I doubt you want to be sitting on the trail for an hour just to finish inflating your tires. So, recommendations I'm going to make: number 1, absolutely, it would do great for emergency situations. If you get a tire puncture, you got to repair that tire and then inflate the 1 tire. This will definitely make sense. Number 2, if you are someone like me and you do not air down terribly much, cut your tire pressure in half. You go from 35 to 17 or something like that, 34 to 17, 15, in that range. You could probably get all 4 tires done and it'll be good, assuming you only have to do it once. So let's say you air down, you hit the trail, then at the end of the day, you air up again using this. That would work out. Then you go home, you charge it, and you're ready for the next adventure. For a longer trip where you're going to be airing down, airing up, airing down, airing up multiple times in, let's say, 1 day or over the course of several days, I'm not 100% sure that this would work out too well, because it would all depend on how quickly it charges in the car, how quickly it charges in the vehicle. And just based off of the 20 minutes it took to gain 1 bar of battery life inside the house, I imagine it would take a while inside of your car. So I will be using this for sure on the trail, because I usually just air down, do the trails that I need to, and then air up at the very end of the day. So yeah, I'm going to call this a success. I think this is a great product. I'm definitely going to use it, and I am going to compare it to some of my buddies who have air compressors that they like to hook up to their battery, their car battery, and they use that way. Let's see which one of ours is going to be quicker and more efficient. Anyway, thanks for sticking around, everybody. I appreciate you watching the video. I know this was a little bit more drawn out for something as simple as an air compressor review and test, but I want to make sure that you guys get all the information that you need, and I want to take this seriously. Is this a good product? Would I recommend it? I would recommend it for a couple of those use cases. Anyway, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.